Hi, I'm Rachel Coleman, infant and child sleep coach. Some parents I work with actually know what they need to do deep down to help their children sleep better, and they just need a little bit of help in the right direction and some encouragement along the way. Others, however, are really shocked when I tell them what I think is underlying their child's sleep problem. So here are some of the most common mistakes that I see parents making when it comes to their child's sleep. Number 1, your child is sleeping too much or too little. Have you ever tried keeping your baby awake throughout the day so that they sleep better in the evening? Did it work? I bet it didn't. Overtiredness actually stimulates the production of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, which are also the hormones responsible for keeping us awake. So parents that try keeping their kids up all day to make sure that their kids are tired enough to go to sleep in the evening often find that it backfires and their children are more wired, overly energetic, and have a really hard time falling asleep in the evening. On the other hand, too much sleep during the day and at the wrong times can also cause more trouble falling to sleep and can mean more night waking and fussiness. Knowing how much sleep your child actually needs for their age and how to optimize their day routine is crucial for sleep success. Number 2, putting baby to sleep in a light room. Many parents tell me that they put their child to sleep in a light room so that they get used to it and are more flexible later on. Unfortunately, this just goes against our biology. Melatonin, the sleepy hormone, is only produced in the darkness, and there's not much we can do about that. So no matter how long you try and teach your child to sleep well in a light room and to be flexible, usually this doesn't work. There will always be those few kiddos who can sleep wherever and whenever, but usually that has to do more with temperament than anything else. In my experience, putting your child in a dark room encourages sleep, and if that's your norm, I usually find that kids are more flexible on the go because their bodies are in the right rhythm. Speaking of rhythm, that's number 3. Babies thrive on routine and rhythm. It gives them security and it helps their circadian rhythm to regulate itself so that they're sleepy at the right times. Babies with no routine is like an adult on constant jet lag. They're tired, they're grumpy, and they don't sleep well. Routine doesn't have to be super strict either. It can be more of a rhythm. So if you'd like a little bit more flexibility, the thing to look out for is the age-appropriate awake time for your child's age to prevent them from getting overtired or undertired. Number 4, baby can't fall asleep independently. Obviously, we're not talking about newborns here. Newborns need to be snuggled and cuddled, and they need a lot of help to fall asleep because they're just not biologically mature. However, as your little one gets older, they can become dependent on your help for falling asleep even once they don't actually need it anymore. I often find that babies start needing a little bit more independence between 4 to 6 months of age. That's when the 4-month sleep regression happens, which is actually not a regression, it's a developmental leap. And they also start to become way more aware of their surroundings, and so mama and daddy can sometimes be a little bit distracting. For example, if you're feeding to sleep, your baby will probably wake up after one sleep cycle, which during the day is 45 minutes, or in the night 1 to 3 hours, and they'll need that same help to get back to sleep. So if they have such an ingrained sleep association and they can't fall asleep by themselves, the likelihood is that they're going to have trouble catnapping and they're going to be frequent night wakers. This isn't healthy for baby, and it's not so helpful for mom and dad either. Observe your baby carefully and try not to intervene too fast when you start realizing that they're at that age when they need to become more independent. Number 5, getting baby up after only one sleep cycle at nap time. Have you ever experienced how frustratingly precise babies' naps can be? I remember with my children almost being able to time their naps on the dot. Usually it was like 40 or 45 minutes. And many babies struggle with catnapping. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't realize that as parents we're actually contributing to that problem, either by not putting them down awake to sleep so that they fall asleep independently, or by always getting them up after they wake up after a 45-minute nap. A baby's circadian rhythm is regulated by exposure to light, in addition to many other things. So when you're bringing baby out into the light room after only 45 minutes of sleep, you're actually telling their body, that was the longest nap you should do. Tomorrow you should also wake up after 45 minutes. My recommendation is that if your baby has woken up after a 40 or 45 minute nap, you try and resettle them for 15 to 20 minutes in the dark room to encourage their body to fall back asleep. Those are 5 of the 10 biggest mistakes that I see parents making with their children's sleep. I'll be back next week with part 2.